In a small bustling cafe in the heart of London, the chatter of patrons faded into the background as a distant storm brewed outside. Among the chaos, a lithe figure sat alone at a window, eyes sparkling with the thrill of possibility. Charlie, an ordinary man with an extraordinary dream, was about to redefine his life's path. When you find yourself staring out at the world with a longing that tugs at your heart, it is a clear sign that it is time for change. As the raindrops painted patterns on the glass, Charlie's thoughts raced back to a childhood filled with adventure, curiosity, and the spontaneous laughter of his friends. They would often climb trees, concoct wild stories, and muster the courage to venture far beyond their little town. But as they'd grown, so had the expectations that life imposed upon them. The responsibilities, the fears, the shoulds that crept in like an unwelcome fog. Just then, a bold lightning bolt illuminated the sky, a reminder that while storms can be intimidating, they also usher in the potential for a new dawn. Inspired by this moment, Charlie decided then and there that he would embrace life and all its uncertainties. Wiping the condensation off his glass, he began to pen a letter to himself, outlining his dreams, unfiltered, unapologetic aspirations bubbling up from the depths of his heart. He wrote about his yearning to travel the world, to connect with the diverse tapestry of cultures he had only read about in books. He imagined stepping into the rich landscapes of Asia, the sprawling savannas of Africa, and the vibrant streets of South America. He sketched scenes of himself hiking the Himalayas, tasting the spices in bustling markets, and dancing under the stars by a bonfire on a beach he had never seen. But as he scribbled, doubts began to creep in. What if he didn't have enough money? What if he got lost? What if he failed to seize opportunities that presented themselves? But amid the barrage of worries, a flicker of wisdom whispered back to him. True failures happen when one never ventures out of their comfort zone. To try and fall is infinitely more rewarding than not trying at all. That evening, Charlie did something he hadn't done in years. He contacted an old friend who had always been a wanderlust spirit. Mia was a freelance writer with a penchant for immersing herself in other cultures. They hadn't spoken since college, but the thought of reaching out filled him with exhilaration. To his surprise, Mia was thrilled to hear from him, and over an animated conversation she shared stories of her own leaps of faith. How she had jumped on a spontaneous flight to Thailand, followed her passions, and found joy in living life on her own terms. Entranced by her tales, Charlie realized there were two types of people in the world: those who let society dictate their lives, and those who dared to make their own rules. If he wanted more from his life, he had to be the latter. With newfound resolve, he committed himself to a year of exploration, canceling his predictable job, selling most of his possessions, and filling his soul up with the excitement of the unknown. Weeks passed in a flurry of planning and preparations. His friends, initially taken aback, slowly began to admire his courage. They often voiced their admiration, sharing their own unfollowed dreams. Some whispered of old ambitions of learning to surf or playing in a band. Charlie became a lighthouse in their lives, showing them that it was never too late to reignite the fire of passion and curiosity that life often dulled. On the day of his departure, the cafe where it all began buzzed with energy. Friends gathered to send him off with laughter and hugs, reminding him that beneath every venture, the connections he made would remain with him forever. As he settled into his flight seat, a quiet excitement surrounded him, transforming into a roaring anthem inside his mind. This was just the beginning. His first destination, a small island in Indonesia, famed for its beaches, harmonized culture, and welcoming locals. With a heart pounding and anticipation buzzing through him, Charlie dove headfirst into every experience. Vibrant markets filled with people haggling, the enchanting sounds of traditional music, and breathtaking sunsets that seemed to stretch on forever. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. The storm metaphorically caught up with him. He battled with language barriers, missed connections, and even bouts of loneliness. Yet each challenge pushed Charlie beyond his previous limits. He started volunteering, teaching English to eager children whose laughter was a reminder of his own carefree youth. In their bright eyes, he saw reflections of his aspirations and rediscovered the joy that comes from embracing discomfort. As months turned into a blurred mix of adventure and hardship, Charlie unearthed a profound truth. The greatest moments of life often lie in the juncture of risk and reward. The world was full of possibilities waiting to be tapped into, but it required one fundamental ingredient: courage. With his heart increasingly full, Charlie made his way to South America. There, he trekked through the Andes, marveling at nature's grandeur before connecting with fellow explorers who shared his passion for storytelling. They swapped passions under a starlit sky, weaving tales from every corner of the globe, instilling hope and camaraderie. The unraveling of new friendships reminded him that life was less about what you had and more about the connections you forged. Days melded into nights filled with inspiration, laughter, and dreams reinvented. Charlie returned to himself and remembered his own passions, artistry and writing, a spark he yearned to reignite, but had long forgotten in the rat race of adult life. Fueled by this realization, he began to write again, penning his experiences, the adventures etched in his memory, the heartaches touched across cultures, and the unique stories that shaped him. With every word, he felt the shackles of doubt fall away, and he emerged renewed and invigorated, ready to inspire others with the lessons he had learned. By the time he returned to London, Charlie was not the same man who had departed. He was armed not just with stories and experiences, but with an unshakable conviction that life is what you make of it. The world was fragile, fleeting, and vibrant. Every day presented a canvas waiting to be painted with bold strokes of courage and spontaneity. Motivated by his journey, Charlie decided to host workshops where he would encourage others to embark on their own adventures. He created a community around the core belief that exploration doesn't have to be about luxurious vacations or extensive travel. Adventure could be as simple as picking up a new hobby, signing up for a dance class, or initiating conversations with strangers. Every little act of stepping out of one's comfort zone was a leap toward a life unconventionally rich in passion. As he stood in front of a gathering filled with eager faces, Charlie felt the familiar thrill zipping through him. "The keys to exploration lie in your hands," he said, eyes gleaming with fervor. "It isn't about where you will go, but the fact that you are willing to go. It is about tuning into your instincts, chasing those impulses, and diving headfirst into opportunity. Take risks, Embrace challenges and celebrate your journey, even the bumps along the way, because they'll shape your story. With that, people beyond Charlie's workshop took notice, rallied behind his message, and spread it like wildfire within their circles. An incredible ripple effect began, igniting dreams and urging everyone to step outside their comfort zones. The world became a canvas, vivid and alive. Many were inspired to fill those blank spaces with colors they had long set aside. As for Charlie, he became an ambassador of empowerment, continually reminding everyone that the fears that paralyze them exist only at the mind. When one particularly bright soul in the workshop asked him for the secret to living boldly, he smiled warmly before responding, "Take that leap. The net will appear if you're brave enough to jump. The universe thrives on courage." Years later, Charlie still gazed out at the stars from his favorite cafe, reflecting on a life filled with stories from countless journeys. It was a life rich in experiences, connections, and a continuous cycle of adventure, flowing unabated. He had carved a path for himself, a clear testament that life was always waiting to be lived fully. The greatest gift we can give ourselves is permission to follow our hearts, undeterred, unshackled, and free. And as you ponder this message today, ask yourself, what adventure awaits you on the horizon? What leap may transform your own life? It's time to unearth your passions and reclaim every ounce of curiosity and courage that the world holds. So, go ahead and take that step into the unknown. Embrace it. For life is more than mere existence. It's about truly living. Let your spirit soar